If I told you that the era of Nintendo Switch leaks is over, how would you feel? Would you be bummed because it's been fun to be a part of all the early insider knowledge? Would you be excited because now everything is a surprise and you don't have to worry about if things are true or false? Well, what if I told you that someone new is entering the scene, someone that got some things right that nobody else predicted, and so while one era may be over, a new era might be beginning. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're doing fantastic out there. Pyoro is done. He's left his tree. He's flown the coop. His account is shuttered. The tweets are deleted, and Pyoro is gone. Pyoro has been found out. Pyoro has given up his information. Pyoro has said how he got it, and Pyoro is no more. Our most reliable leaker, the one that we counted on for directs and for new first-party games, the one that we said had 100% accuracy, is now 100% gone. And in this current year, many leakers have been put up on a pedestal and then wiped out. Midori is gone after being proven to not be Midori at all, and now Pyoro is taking a leave of absence on his own accord, flying away to obscurity. This is a very strange time because leaks have always been part of video game lore. They weren't always about new games, but there were all sorts of rumor mongering and things going around on the playground about, oh, in this game you could do this. Oh, I actually saw this final ending. Oh, there's this secret area with a secret dialogue in a secret room. And now most of those leaks are centered around what games are going to be shown at the Direct, what the heck is Nintendo planning, and when are we going to get our next fix of Zelda, Samus, or Mario. But as of today, we have no major leaker because so many have fallen, so many have been proven false, and now Pyoro is out of here. This started after Pyoro didn't get much of anything right about the Nintendo Direct. He did not have his typical post detailing all the first-party announcements. He tried to leak a few things, and it's very confusing if he actually got anything right. He talked about a decent chance of a 2D Zelda remake, and then we got a brand new 2D game, so he was all over the place, off, and just not the same bird. Now, and then Bloomberg wrote an article about him, Jason Schreier, formerly of Kotaku, writing an article about Pyoro, which is absolutely bonkers to think that this bird has ascended this high up the totem pole, but this is where we learn exactly what's going on. Many started to speculate after this Direct, this June Direct, that Pyoro was getting his information from Nintendo's websites. Now that is because in this Direct, none of the big announcements got websites preloaded onto Nintendo's hub before the Direct or even shortly after. I don't know if they all have websites now, but some of the games definitely did not immediately during and after the Direct, and that seems to be the reason why Pyoro no longer had access to what was going on. Many have thought for a while that Pyoro was having access to YouTube, and he said that's not true. Many were saying he has access to Nintendo's back end, the eShop. He said that was not true. But now it seems like it is due to the back end of Nintendo's website. And Pyoro himself commented to Jason Schreier after being asked about it exactly how he was getting his information. He said that his source is from Nintendo of Japan. They work for them, an employee of Nintendo. But, quote, I'm unsure how they obtain their information. Back-end theory is a reasonable guess. Very, very interesting, and it does seem like this is going to be the culprit of how Pyoro sung all of his songs. He had contact with a Nintendo of Japan employee, somebody who was not loyal to Nintendo and more loyal to the internet. And Pyoro doesn't know exactly how they got their info, but they were feeding him info that seems to be from Nintendo's website, from the back end of their website. Very, very interesting, especially because now this time the web did not have that information and we did not get those leaks. So maybe Nintendo got savvy to this. Maybe Nintendo was able to kind of pinpoint how Pyoro was getting their information, but didn't know where it was coming from. And then they locked down the website. They locked down the leaks of what could be announced on the website, or could be leaked rather, via the website eventual announcements, and then they stopped it all. Nintendo has been very aggressive at stopping emulation, at stopping third parties trying to make interesting content in their games, at stopping mods. I mean, they cared more about stopping a Pokemon mod in Pal World than stopping Pal World itself. They are not up to having any funny business surrounding their IP, their company, their presentations, or their announcements. And I bet you that Nintendo was in some way involved in figuring out how Pyoro was getting the information and making sure that it's shut down. So that leaves us in a mysterious place where Pyoro is gone, Midori is gone. People like Nate Drake and Brazil are still there, but I would say that they're more like thematic leakers, right? They know more about the themes, like, oh, Nintendo is probably prepping a presentation soon. Seems like Nintendo might have delayed the console. Occasionally, they do have more specific details, but if you listen to Nate Drake's podcast before the Direct, he didn't really get much correct about that show whatsoever. So it seems like Nintendo has done an excellent job in 2024, or a terrible job, depending on where you fall, of limiting the leaks and making sure that their surprises stay secret. But here's where things get super interesting, because they didn't do a perfect job. Something still did leak out. The pipe was not completely sealed off despite their Pyoro stumping. Somebody posted on Reset Era, the formerly glorious video game website that preceded Fam Awards, and they posted under the name Ada Wong from freaking Resident Evil an interesting post that nobody really paid much attention to, but it is absolutely fascinating in context of knowing what happened at the recent Direct. Ada Wong posted, "I'm betting on a top-down Legend of Zelda game starring Zelda and a new Mario and Luigi title. Their brothership is too iconic, you know?" And nobody thought anything of this. They let it pass because Alpha Dreams shut down and Nintendo has been in Mario RPG heaven lately. Why would they release a new Mario and Luigi game? And yeah, Papa Gino said something about a Zelda starring Zelda, so maybe they're just hopping on that bandwagon. But it seems like Ada Wong knows exactly what's going on, because their brothership is too iconic has a capital B. Because of course the title, the subtitle of Mario and Luigi Brothership, involves that word right there. How did Ada Wong know this information? Do they actually live in Raccoon City? What is going on, and is Ada the new Pyoro? I'm going to guess that despite Ada Wong's accuracy, they will probably not become the next Pyoro. I think there's a certain sauce you have to desire to become this anonymous public persona, to be a bird in the face of all these other tweets, to be somebody who has this knowledge and can share it and spread it. It takes a certain kind of gusto as well as a desire for the public eye, a desire for some sort of clout in one way or another. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like Ada Wong wants to claim much clout. When you click on Ada Wong's profile, we don't get much. They joined in November 2017, so they've been on Reset Era for quite a long time. They've posted just over 1,800 times, so they're a frequent poster. So have they known information for 7 years? Have they known information just recently? Is there any possibility this was the luckiest of all lucky guesses? I know that's not the case because the Capital Brothership is just way too telling. But we're now in a position where Nintendo clearly doesn't have it 100% locked down, but they might have eliminated many of the top sources. They might have eliminated many of the top leakers who sought to put themselves out there and say, hey, come one, come all, I know what's going on. And that leaves us in an interesting position for the rest of 2024 and possibly into 2025. One of the most exciting times for Nintendo fans is going to be the next 12 months because we are on the precipice of a new Switch console. After the success of the Switch, after the amazing evolutionary nature of so many Switch game releases, everybody's going to want to know what's coming out for Switch 2. Everybody's going to want to know if Mario 3D is actually a launch title. Everybody's going to want to know if Nintendo is going to have a September Direct. What on earth will they possibly talk about? So we are in a leak-desiring era, I feel, where everyone will want to know what's going down, and we might have just walked ourselves into an era where we have no leaks at all. Now, like I said at the top, on one hand, this is awesome because everything could be a surprise. We might go into that September Direct, that Switch reveal presentation, with not a darn clue. And in many ways, doesn't that make the shows that much better? Sometimes I feel like the surprising shows end up being regarded as the best shows, even if their content isn't necessarily top tier. Now, I think this Direct was a perfect storm of amazingly top-tier content and beautiful surprises, which helped it perk up to a A+ Direct in my mind, a 10 out of 10 from a lot of others, and many saying it was the best Direct in the last couple of years. How cool would it be to not know what Nintendo is going to reveal for the Switch 2 until they step on stage and do it themselves? At the same time, how agonizing could this wait be if we don't have any insider information? The good news is people like Brazil and Nate Drake and Necro Philippe, they do have kind of like their finger on the pulse. They know what direction Nintendo is moving, even if they don't know the exact path they might be taking. So while I do think we will be slight on game-specific leaks, on what the heck Nintendo is planning for an individual event, or where exactly they're going with their launch lineup, I do feel like we'll know more overarching ideas of what Nintendo has in store. That seems to be coming from sources that are more locked in, but not willing to give up complete and total information, rather more signs of the times, right? More thematic leaks, as we discussed. So I think we'll still get some stuff, but it's definitely an interesting time. And the fact that they were able to chop Pyoro's wings right before this very important June Direct that set the stage for the rest of 2024 and showed Nintendo still has insane creativity and drive as they enter the swan song era of Nintendo Switch, we've now moved to a leakerless era unless Ada Wong decides to stand up tall. So how do you feel about all this? I think it's fascinating to examine and to live through the roller coaster that is this leaker community and that is the life of a Nintendo Switch fan. So I'd love to hear your take in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.